Welcome to today's presentation with David Detata, Managing Director for Strategic Energy Resources, stock code SER, which is a copper-gold focused explorer in Queensland with a portfolio of 4 exciting prospects that will each be drilled over the next 12 months. The company has raised $2 million recently to support this strategy, which David can run us through today. Over to you, David.
Thank you very much, Alex. What we're presenting today is really a change of focus for the company. Over the last 3 years, we've consolidated some outstanding land positions on the northern and now southern extensions of the Mount Isa Inlier, one of the most metallogenic provinces in the world. And with the acquisition of the Diamantina project 2 weeks ago, we have now this commanding footprint within Queensland, as well as a gold project in northeastern Queensland, that will see us line up drilling across all 4 quarters well into mid next year. So today's presentation will run you through the acquisition from Anglo American of the Diamantina Copper Project, as well as the other 3 projects, as I said, which will all see drilling this year. Before we get onto the projects, an overview of the company and the structure. You'll note that beside me on the executive team, we have Stuart Reckner, also the non-executive director of Kingston Resources, and Anthony McIntosh on the board of Cloncurry. And I hope that provides investors with the confidence in our ability to not only identify projects, undertake extensive drill programs, and then bring them into production. So it should provide the level of confidence that we have the right team to be able to put together a project portfolio that will see some real upside for our investors. As mentioned, we raised $2 million just last week, and that'll allow us to put together a drill program across every quarter right through the middle of next year across all of our projects. And it's quite interesting how we're going to do that. It's a way of leveraging R&D as well as joint ventures, but essentially it'll provide news flow, real news flow about drilling results right through to the middle of next year. Let's just see all that laid out across the 4 quarters coming forward. You'll note the first up project is Isa North drill program, and that's scheduled to begin this quarter, and we'll see anywhere between 1 to 1,500 meters of diamond drilling at a copper-gold project that is formerly under the hands of Newcrest. That's been over 2.5 years to get to this point, and with an R&D offset as well as a CEI grant from Queensland, that sees some of the lowest effective drill program you'll be able to do as a junior explorer. From there, we also have a joint venture with Kenobi, with our Fortescue group. And they've set to put over 3,000 meters of drilling in the ground this year, which means that after some geophysics programs, which are about to be conducted, are finished, we will be on the ground and the drill rig should move from Isa North straight to Kenobi. The Diamantina project has only been acquired just recently. By the time that moves through the transfer process within the Queensland government, we are anticipating on being on ground early next year to undertake a follow-up drill program from some of the significant copper results that I'll run through shortly. Lastly, our Bulimba Gold Project, almost 2 years in the making. It has now been granted with landholder access now underway. That is a shallow gold project in northeast Queensland that we again aim to be on ground drilling as early as mid next year. I'll run through all these projects in a lot more detail. But firstly, what is really a company changer, a company maker for Strategic Energy Resources? And that was our ability to take for what is less than the price of a drill hole, a program of exploration that was undertaken by Anglo American in the southern extensions of the Mount Isa Inlier that spent almost $30 million to get to this point. You can see here where Diamantina is located and the obvious connection to the nearby Osborne, Mount Elliott and Swan deposits to the north. There's a clear connection, the undercover extension of mineralized terrain right down to the Diamantina project area. Originally, Anglo American secured over 45 exploration licenses dating back to 2018 to get their footprint on the whole area southern of Mount Isa Inlier. And since 2018 through to 2019 and 2020, they reviewed the historical drill core, undertook systematic science-based exploration, and narrowed the region of interest right down to the project area, which we have been able to secure as part of the acquisition process. $20 million alone was spent on Diamantina across 2 drill programs and numerous geophysical data acquisitions. So what we've been able to achieve as part of this acquisition, and we'll move through the terms in subsequent slides, is a huge database of geophysics as well as drill data that really points to a provenance scale opportunity for the company, not just relying on the drill holes they've put into the project already, but also the geophysical data sets that have been collected that are yet to be interpreted and will be as part of our ongoing exploration program. Just summarizing exactly the area of interest that we've secured. The two tenements in the middle capture both the Elizabeth Springs East, West, and South, which saw some historic drilling done by Red Metal, intersecting copper plus 400 meters at depth, small intersections that were of immediate interest for Anglo American and where the subject of their first drilling campaign was. As part of the acquisition, we've secured the two tenements in the middle, as well as 3 surrounding tenements that were in open ground at the time. And as part of the transaction, we've pulled all 5 tenements together, increasing our footprint and increasing the chances of the discovery of greater copper gold deposits north and south of the existing Elizabeth Springs prospect. As you can see, an Anglo American put 19 diamond holes into the project, as well as some basement testing, shallower drilling. And they're the results that we've managed to purchase as part of this agreement. Just a quick cross-section of the drilling that was undertaken by Anglo American. And you'll see here at the Elizabeth Springs East prospect, we have a number of drill holes that intersected basement and a lot of shallower drill holes as well. That was done as part of a study to map the basement across the Elizabeth Springs West project. The outstanding drill hole here, DTD 002, you can see 161 meters at 0.4% copper. This drill intersection alone for SER across any of our other projects would be a company maker. And as I said, we've managed to buy this intersection for less than a cost of the first drill hole. Within that 161 meter intercept, a high-grade portion of 17 meters at 1.76% copper, but even better, 0.67 meters at 25.6% copper, right in the middle of the prospect. These are much better results than Red Metal had drilled previously, and was enough for Anglo American from that second drill hole to then go on and drill a number of other drill holes east and west of this project, as well as some shallower drilling, as I've mentioned. The shallower drilling was part of a study with the Minex CRC group to try and map the copper mineralization as the contact between basement and fresh rock. And as you can see, there were mineralized intersections straight from the beginning. So DCT 002 intersected 5.5 meters at 0.06, but of course DCT 006 as 010, 6.5 meters at 0.52% copper. Immediate areas for us to follow up on, along with that 161 meters at 0.4 copper. Have a look at the overview of where these holes are. Elizabeth Springs West on your right-hand side. Anglo American followed up the 43 meters at 0.1 drilled by Red Metal with only 2 drill holes. And you can see there were mineralized intersections of copper of significance in both drill holes. And we're looking at over 500 meters apart. We have a look at Elizabeth Springs East, where the majority of the drilling was done. You can see the first intersection, DTT 002, where that 161 meters was, and then 300 meters in all directions, where mineralized intersections were intercepted. For SCR, this is a huge opportunity in trying to put together the reasoning and the rationale behind where was drilled and the intercepts, as well as following up on that high-grade intercept in the middle at DTD 002. So the search space has got plenty to play out, and we're looking at both these prospects and Elizabeth Springs South as opportunities to not just follow up on high-grade mineralization, but in search for areas of shallow mineralization and also extending the low-grade DCT 010 hole that intersected mineralization from the top of basement. Let's have a look at the overview of the transaction. And I was firm transaction has come for the less than price of the drill hole. SER was able to take 100% interest from the moment of completion of this transaction for what is 2 installments of $300,000 cash, but also $300,000 in shares at a deemed price of 50% premium to the 1-month VWAP of the company, of a floor price of 1 cent, currently above where the shares are trading right now for this company. And that will see Anglo American take a position on our register, which shows their confidence and the ability of this project to deliver better results, more upside, not just for them, but for shareholders of SER. We've undertaken a program of $1 million of expenditure across the next 2 years, partially R&D rebatable, given their inclusion in a number of Curtin Trailblazer programs, which will see us actually, the spend going out being significantly less than $1 million, but allow us to not only get on ground and drill follow-up holes at the high-grade hit, DTD002, the shallower coiled tube rig holes, but also undertake a whole range of geophysics to get us to a point where we can understand the variations of mineralization across the whole Elizabeth Springs project. And furthermore, all of the geophysics that was conducted by Anglo American in those last 3 years that they've held the project is actually yet to be used in future drill targeting. And that, as I've said before, is the massive opportunity for this company. Getting our hands on magnetotellurics, passive seismics, enhanced gravity programs to then map where the next likely round of drill holes will be into the future is just exciting from the beginning for this project and this company. That's the first project we're going to focus on. The second project is the immediate project that we will see drilling on this quarter. This is the Isa North project. This is an ex-Newcrest project that we were able to take off Newcrest for zero consideration and a first right of refusal. When we took this ground off Newcrest, we were all alone in the northern extensions of the Mount Gordon Fault, recently come prominence with the recent drilling at Aquila by True North Copper that intersected some significant drill holes at Mount Oxen. What that means for the project is that we are now chasing mineralized intersections north of True North Copper. Previously, the 29 Metals had intersected at extensive mineralization in the Capricorn deposits, and now we're chasing mineralization undercover. The project itself was all alone on its own until we've had our recent neighbours Fortescue and Anglo American come into the region for the same reason we are, to search for high-grade Tier 1 copper deposits undercover. We zoom into the project area itself. The drilling is planned at this Nardeep prospect in the middle. Now, previously Newcrest had drilled 5,000 plus meters across this project and identified mineralization all the way from Lorraine South all the way to Newmar, 70 plus kilometers along this Mount Gordon Fault. The drilling was sparse, did indicate the presence of a fertile IOCG system, but not the grades that we considered economic. And as mentioned, we managed to take this project off Newcrest. Since that time, we've focused on this Nardeep prospect in the heart of the tenement. We've undertaken some enhanced geophysics, including ground gravity and drone magnetics, identified 4 major targets of considerable size that are now in a position for drilling. We've also conducted landholder negotiations. We will see ourselves on ground this year to drill a minimum 2 targets at Nardeep. What we've managed to do also is tie in an R&D agreement, which sees an offset of expenditure, and a CEI grant from the Queensland government that will see us drilling 1 hole and subsequently the second hole for minimum outlay to the company. 2 major chances of success and making a discovery undercover Mount Isa this quarter. And at the bottom, you'll see the N8 target, which received the government funding, as well as the other 3 targets that have been modelled up. And it's likely that N8 and N7 will be tested this year at this project. Very exciting for us this quarter. We then move to the west. This is a project, the Kenobi project, which is being explored alongside Fortescue as part of a joint venture agreement. In 2023, Fortescue approached the company to enter into a joint venture based on some of the significant intercepts of not just gold, but copper and nickel across the Kenobi domain. If you follow this project 140 kilometers south, you're on the same fault system that hosts Ernest Henry. So Fortescue have recognized the potential for this land holding to host a Tier 1 copper deposit, and that is their analog, a Tier 1 copper deposit of the likes of Ernest Henry undercover. In 2023, we managed to get on ground and drill 3 holes across the project area as a proof of concept that the right rocks are present this far north of Ernest Henry. That was proven to be the case, and in the last 18 months, on-ground geophysics have occurred. We've had gravity survey last year, just finished up a gravity survey this year. We'll then move into an MT survey across no less than 8 targets across the project area. The upside of that is Fortescue want to be on ground drilling this year to put in a minimum of 3,000 meters, again, like their first drill program. The joint venture itself has a number of stage gates. The first stage gate, Fortescue have got to drill 3,000 meters of basement. Now, the cover is roughly half the depth of the drill hole. So the first 3 holes that were put in back in our first year of the joint venture only reached 1,400 meters of basement. So with another 3 holes this year at the southern end of the project area where it is slightly shallower, they are likely to almost reach the earn-in phase, which is the $4 million and 3,000 meters of basement. So likely after this year and into next year, there'll be more drilling, as all the geophysics to date have been conducted, for them to identify the number of targets to give them a runway to try and get as close as they can to that earn-in space. And we anticipate this year there'll be a number of drill holes and then early again next year. The joint venture SER is the operator. What that means is that we are paid to explore as part of the joint venture. All of the competencies resides in SER and as well as the people involved to undertake the drilling. So this program is likely to take 2 months, of which will be sole funded by Fortescue, but in fact, SER will be paid to do the drilling. It's pretty exciting for us at this project. The last project, the Diamantina Gold Project. It's a very exciting project for the company, and it is also an ex-Newcrest project, believe it or not. So you can see a flavour here with the company. We've been able to secure projects that have come out of majors, not because the projects themselves have been exhausted, because their attention has been turned elsewhere. The Bulimba project, as you can see, its obvious connection to the 2.7 million ounce Mangana and Red Dome gold deposits to the south. The mineralized fault, the Mangula Palmerville fault, heads off through our ground. That was the reason why Newcrest picked up this ground previously. Having had the ground, only limited soil work was done on this project before they let go of this project. We have this project 100% SER. Since getting the project granted, which took almost 18 months to get to that decision point, SER in the last few months has rapidly undertaken a review of the geophysics. We believe the geophysics is at the point now that the next step is on-ground reconnaissance work. This quarter, there'll be SER crew on ground and on the eastern side of the tenement, where those black circles are, their magnetic remnant geophysical expressions. We'll be doing a soil sampling program across those. And then early next year, we will go in and test with a drill rig immediately the potential of those anomalous regions of not just soil geochem from the previous work, but also the anomalous geophysical remnant projects that we have all lined up for next year. An overview. SER has now positioned itself as a pure-play Queensland copper-gold explorer. We have 4 major projects, all with the potential of a major discovery, all at or near drill ready. The Diamantina acquisition itself has moved SER from an explorer looking for a mineralized intercept of significance to us buying one, immediately improving the prospects of the company and giving us targets to follow up in the next 12 months. That project alone is a step change for the company. The other 3 projects are all at the infancy, and we'll see drilling on them to test the theory of a major discovery undercover within the next 12 months. The difference between SER and a lot of other junior explorers is our ability to leverage R&D offset as well as government funding. So for the Isa North project, we will see 2 drill holes put into the project at a minimum for a very minimal outlay. Kenobi is fully funded by Fortescue. And we also have the Diamantina project, which is R&D attractive as well. So we're able to leverage the dollar and make it move further as we undertake what is deep drilling in areas in Queensland, but a high potential of success. And that's the difference with SER. Alex, thank you.
Thank you, David. That's a great presentation. Thank you for your time. And clearly a very exciting 4 quarters lay ahead as you very cost efficiently work through each of those 4 exciting projects and deliver what sounds like it will be a very steady stream of news flow to investors. So four quarters of news flow and 4 different ways to win. And we'll be keeping a very close watch. Very exciting times ahead.
Thank you, very much appreciated.
Well, thank you for your time running us through that. Well, we can wrap it up there. If anybody has any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to either David or myself. We can come back to you with responses. But thank you for your time today, David, and thank you for your time today, everyone that listened. Thank you very much. Have a good day.